GCSE, Year 10. Chemistry Paper 1.
Good morning, everyone. Today we're learning about evaporation and crystallization, two very important separation techniques in chemistry. Let's start with a simple question. Which separation method do we use when the solid does not dissolve in a liquid? The correct answer is filtration. We use filtration because an insoluble solid like sand cannot dissolve in water. So, for example, if we have sand and water, why does filtration work here? Because sand is insoluble, meaning it stays solid and can be trapped by the filter paper. Now, after filtration, what do we call the solid left on the filter paper? That solid is called the residue, and the liquid that passes through the filter paper into the beaker is called the filtrate. To carry out filtration, we always need a funnel, a beaker, and filter paper. Now let's think about a different situation. What if the solid does dissolve in the liquid? In that case, filtration will not work. Instead, we use evaporation or crystallization. So why do we heat a solution during evaporation? We heat it to make the solvent evaporate, not to melt the solid or cause a chemical reaction. As the solvent evaporates, the solution becomes more concentrated. When using evaporation, when do we stop heating? We stop when dry crystals of the solid are left behind. Evaporation is usually a quick method, but it's not always the best one. So when should we use crystallization instead of evaporation? We use crystallization when the solid breaks down or decomposes with strong heating. During crystallization, when do we remove the evaporating dish from the heat? We remove it at the point of crystallization, which is when the first crystals appear. After that, we leave the solution to cool. Why do larger crystals form as the solution cools? Because the solid becomes insoluble in the cool, concentrated solution, allowing crystals to grow slowly. Finally, the crystals are filtered out and dried. Now let's apply this to a real example. Rock salt. What is rock salt a mixture of? It's a mixture of soluble salt and insoluble sand. What is the first step in separating rock salt? We grind the rock salt. Why do we do that? Because grinding increases the surface area, helping the salt dissolve faster. After adding the ground rock salt to water and stirring, what do we have? We have a solution of dissolved salt with undissolved sand. Next, we filter the mixture. What is collected as the residue? The sand. And what is collected as the filtrate? A solution of salt dissolved in water. So how do we obtain solid salt from this filtrate? We use evaporation. Overall, separating rock salt uses which two methods in order? Filtration followed by evaporation. Now think about a copper sulfate solution. In this solution, what is the solvent? The water is the solvent. Which method is best for obtaining solid copper sulfate crystals? Crystallization, because it produces large, well-formed crystals. Finally, remember this key point. Both evaporation and crystallization start with gentle heating. But the main difference is that in crystallization, heating is stopped and the solution is left to cool once crystals start to form. Pause the video, practice a few examples, and you'll be confident with evaporation and crystallization.